Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Movie Mortis, where Movie Madness lives. My name is Nick,
And I'm Drew.
and today we are going to review the John Carpenter movie They Live, filmed in what year was this filmed in again? I forgot.
1988.
1988. I thought it was the late 90s or some early 90s. I thought it was an early 90s films, but that's besides the case. This film follows a drifter who finds out aliens are living among us and are controlling society at large. This is a cult classic film and is very much referenced a whole lot from all sides of the political spectrum. I've seen this movie before, but Drew, this is your first time watching, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, tell me, what did you think about it?
I thought it was great. Another banger from John Carpenter. Because
Yep.
that man just can't stop delivering bangers. So,
We
and
love John.
by the way, I got my 4K Steelbook here. Obligatory. Fuck Sony. Fuck them right in the asshole. But yeah, I got my 4K Steelbook here from Scream Factory. I got this about a year or two ago, maybe. Um, but yeah, I picked it up at Barnes and Noble one day when I saw it because I was like, oh, it's John Carpenter movie. People talk about it. I had to, it's John Carpenter. But yeah, I really like this movie. And so the first thing that stood out to me was that I did not know Rowdy Roddy Piper was an actor until I saw this movie.
He was a wrestler, right? He was a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I saw that he was in this, I'm like, wait a minute. The wrestler Rowdy Roddy Piper is the lead character in this movie.
Yep, that is indeed true.
Yep, and I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah. So I don't have a steel book, but obligatory fuck Sony. I don't have a rap rhyme for this sort of pony, but I do have I think I mentioned this before, my 4 film collection DVD of John Carpenter, Master of Fear, which includes They Live, Village of the Damned, The Thing, and Prince of Darkness. Why they could not include In the Mouth of Madness on here to complete the Apocalypse trilogy is beyond me, honestly, which is a shame,
Oh,
but...
well.
But yeah, this is how I was able to watch They Live. Actually, it's funny. I first watched They Live because I borrowed the DVD from the library. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, it was a library up in a different city because I kept moving around a lot, and that's how I first watched They Live. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. In fact, that's my general thoughts on They Live. It's pretty good. And John Carpenter is becoming a favorite director of mine. I wish he made more movies because the most recent movie he ever made was The Ward, starring Amber Heard,
And when did that come out?
2010.
Okay. Yeah, John Carpenter's more focusing on his music career now. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, to be fair to him, Hollywood didn't exactly treat him well over the years.
oh, damn. Damn
Yeah.
you, Hollywood! Treat your artists right. Well, but hopefully John Carver can make an independent comeback, especially if indie film making
In
waves
fact,
recently.
with this movie, it's actually kind of similar to the thing in the sense that when this movie came out back in 1988, some critics really hated it and wrote it off as a silly B movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, particularly one guy from the Washington Post really didn't like it.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I thought critics thought it was decent, but not a terrible movie. Like, did people just hate John Carpenter back in the day?
No, I mean this movie, like, it got some good reviews. I mean the movie did make its money back at the box office too. So it's not like the thing where it was a total dud when it came out, but it did. They Live though definitely took a while, I think, for it to find its more broader audience, especially because I think at the time people really weren't big on some of the movie's themes when it came out. So.
Oh, yeah. And this came out in '88, right? So that's like near the turning point of the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't look into a lot of backstory on this movie, but yeah, I can see.
Because what I was able to gather that is that a lot of people when this movie first came out couldn't really see past the B movie nature of it and couldn't see its themes about consumerism and economics and all this sort of stuff. They just kind of thought, oh, a silly John Carpenter movie or B movie or whatever. So.
Well,
Because I mean, think about it. When you think about it, it stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, who most people know as the top wrestler from WWF. It has that there's Keith David, one-liners galore,
Wait, Keith David?
aliens. Keith David, yeah.
That was wait, Keith David. He was Rick, right? The the construction worker.
He was
Not the
Frank.
drifter. Frank. He was Frank, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Keith David.
How did you not know that was Keith David?
I thought
he was in
like
the thing too. He was in the thing too.
Oh, recurring Carpenter collaborator.
Yeah.
That's super cool. That's honestly kind of neat.
But yeah, especially because like to kind of get back to this movie, it's like it has a lot of like B movie isms, for lack of a better expression. And that's what people really couldn't see past back when this movie came out. But nowadays, people applaud this movie for its economic and social and, dare I say, political themes. But back then, it was kind of went over a lot of people's heads back then when it came out. So
Really? I mean, they kind of make it blatantly obvious too, and not to mention, if I'm being quite honest, there is that B movie element in They Live, because Roddy Piper's kind of playing it over the top. The soundtrack makes it seem more like a Western cowboy film than like a sci-fi thing with social commentary. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say this movie should always be a B movie, nothing else, but there is a lot of elements of that, B movie thing. Not the B movie starring Jerry Seinfeld, but you know what I mean, right?
that was literally the exact point I was trying to make.
Oh shit! Oh no. Okay, you kept saying a lot of people only saw the B movie elements, and I'm just like, well, to be fair, there are those elements, and
I wasn't denying that. I kind of was like, the way I was saying it was that it has that elements, but people couldn't see past those B movie elements.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Even though to us in 2026, a lot of the social and political satire in this movie is pretty in your face, for lack of a better term. A lot of people back in the day didn't see it. But
that's crazy. What I find, I mean, I don't know how political we want to get in here, because this does deal with social commentary, and I do think it does make a huge statement about mass consumerism and how the elite will do anything for money as well.
Yeah, how they'll sell their souls, and sort of it's kind of a movie, like, so what I got from it is that it's a movie about how the upper echelon, the elite, right, who in this case are the alien people, are subtly controlling and manipulating the world around them, to the point where, like, everybody below them, we'll just say, they're completely unaware of the fact that they're being manipulated and controlled. And I think when I saw this movie, I watched this movie last night, and at first I thought that alley fight scene between Nada, the main character, and Frank, you know what scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, put on the
I
glasses.
thought it went on a little too long, I'll be honest.
Oh, I agree. That scene went on way too long.
And a lot of critics thought that way too, but now I think about it, and I think John Carpenter might have said this himself, or maybe this is just an interpretation I got from a few other people, but that the reason that fight is so long is because they wanted to show how hard it is to get people to change their worldview, if that makes sense. Because Frank, he's like resisting putting on those glasses, right, that make you see the world for what it is, with the aliens and the black and white filter and all that stuff. And that that scene going on for that long is showing how hard it can be for people to want to change their worldview, instead of, people want to live in an ignorant bliss, and rather than having to face the reality of it. Sometimes it takes a long time for people to face reality, does that make sense? So
I mean, it does, but that doesn't change the fact that the fight scene was still dragged on too long. Like, they could have handled this differently. Like, over the course of the movie, have, like, various people give him the glasses and be like, no thank you. And maybe Roddy Piper comes back after church, is like, hey, Frank, you gotta put on these glasses. No way, go away. Like, have it go on over time instead of just dragging out that fight scene. Like, they could have handled, I mean, like, if you want to give that message, fine. Just don't do it poorly. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair point.
All right. Do you think that scene is completely justified now because of the overall message?
I kind of feel conflicted about it. on one hand, yes, there is that message, but at the same time, it does kind of get a little repetitive by minutes, like 3 minutes into the fight scene. You're just like, all right, we've seen your suplexes, and we know Roddy Piper's a wrestler.
Exactly.
We get it.
Exactly. Just it's like if you want to deliver a message, by all means, but don't do it poorly. Don't no pun absolutely intended. Don't crapshoot it. Don't use your anus as a cannon. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
One interesting thing though about that scene is that Keith David and Rowdy Piper practiced that scene in John Carpenter's backyard for 3 weeks prior to filming that scene.
Wow.
And it took about 4 days to film that scene, and apparently they actually hit each other during that scene. So
that's crazy. I definitely noticed that. I don't know if it was this film or another film I was watching, but I know you could definitely tell there were some punches that were definitely fake. I don't know if it was this film or something else I was watching entirely, but I could have sworn it might have been this film. But you can tell there were some were fake. But again, it's a nice scene, but man, it goes on too long. And yes, I get it delivers a message, but again, could have handled it better. Could have handled it better.
So what did you think? Since this is a John Carpenter movie, what did you think of the score, the soundtrack? I know you kind of alluded to it before, but what did you think of the soundtrack, which was composed in large part by John Carpenter himself, as it usually is?
In terms of how it sounds, it's nice on the ears, but but for the overall movie, it made it seem more like a Western than an actual action horror film. Like this, it made it seem like, there's a lot of Western motifs in this film. You got the lone wanderer, who nada translates to nothing in Spanish, and then of course, you got the score, and the lone hero who will save the whole town or rest the whole world, and it's just like it did get a little repetitive over time, but it felt like the same song was being played. But it's still not bad. I respect John Carpenter for composing his own score and doing his own music, and it kind of makes that movie, it makes the movie more actiony and kind of gives that, once again, it goes for that B movie feel.
I think the score sounded more synthy and sci-fi to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know if it was my TV speakers or my brain was doing playing tricks on me, because I remember the score sounding a little more westerny than synthy, because I know John Carpenter does a lot of like keyboard work and synths, and even drum machines. He does a lot of like electronic music, but something, I don't know if it was my TV speakers or something, but like something about the score made it seem very westerny. I don't know what it was. Yeah, because I swear if I go back and listen to that score and it sounds like all synthy and stuff, I am gonna lose my mind. I am going to go to my nearest television station and blow up the town and be like, "This is what you get for propagandizing me." But I can definitely know where you're coming from when you say that the score is very synth-like, because that's kind of John Carpenter's whole thing. He does like electronic music and synths. What did you think about the alien makeup? I have to ask you that.
Oh, it looks great, but it also looks very like, again, I hate to keep reusing the same term, but it looks very B movie, but I think it added to it. Like, I think,
it definitely.
And also too, the look of the aliens, like they look just human enough to where it's like you can see how they're human features to a degree, but at the same time they also look like corpses that are walking among us.
Oh yeah, those aliens are like more corpse-like, if anything, and I actually think they look better in black and white than they do like in color. Which in color, like, not only do they look a little more fake, but they look.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely look more alien when you have like the blue and everything. But the black and white has more of an alien, Living Dead kind of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the black and white filter that's applied whenever he puts on the sunglasses, it also gives it this very like 1950s science fiction movie kind of feel to it. But I agree, the alien makeup and the mask and everything look much better in black and white rather than rather than in full color like you see at the end.
Yeah. Did you mention this before? What did you think of Roddy Piper's acting?
I think it was pretty good.
I agree.
I mean, I think he was a good choice for, again, a movie that on the surface is a B movie like this, where it has a very out there premise, and I thought that he played the character of Nada really well. So I really don't have that much to say about Roddy Piper's performance, to be honest, other than it was good. And I think he had I think the reason John Carpenter cast him was, one, because he was a wrestling fan, and two, he had a very, the way Carpenter put it, he had a slightly worn down face. If that makes sense. Because remember, Nada's supposed to be a character who, when you see him at the beginning of the movie, he's been unemployed for a while. He comes to Los Angeles to find work and stuff, and he's just been through a lot and just sort of exhausted by it all. So
Yeah, he's. I mean, didn't he imply that, like, not only was he abused by his dad, but he also has a wife and kid that either he left or they divorced him?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that. It's funny. When I first watched this, there was a lot of details I missed. Like, there was a lot of details I missed where, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about Nada's backstory, or even Frank's backstory. I mean, he does have a wife and kids as well, but Frank seems a lot more well off compared to Nada, or Nada, he's just a drifter. He's a wandering drifter, and a part of me wonders. Again, I didn't look into it behind the scenes of this movie, which I feel like I should, because like there's clearly a lot of craft went into this movie. Craft, not crap. And a part of me just wonder if, like, Nada was inspired by the lone wandering cowboy or samurai that you see in a lot of westerns and Japanese samurai movies. And, having that bits of information sprinkled on Nada kind of makes him seem like, a man at the bottom gonna take down everything at the top,
Yeah, I should probably mention that this movie was inspired by a comic book, called, I think it's called like 8 in the Morning, I think is what it's called. It has a very similar kind of premise to this movie, where it's like there's the guy whose name is Nada, like in the comic, finds out that the whole world is being run by aliens. So,
well, dang. I remember looking at the Wikipedia page. I didn't see anything that said, like, based on... No, not the Wikipedia page. The opening credits. The opening credits did not say based on the comic book 8 in the Morning by Billy Bob Joe. Because that's what was
it actually
by?
did. It actually did. I caught it when I was watching it last night.
How did I miss that? And I've seen this movie
You
twice.
probably did miss that. I think it was inspired by 8 o'clock in the morning. I think the guy's name was Ray Nelson.
It was Ray Nelson. I just did a quick look at it because I missed that, man. Like, I swear, I watched this movie again. I watched this movie twice. Once when I borrowed it from the library, and twice on my own John Carpenter collection DVD. So, again, I like this movie. I swear, I paid attention to it. And maybe it's because I just don't. Okay, this is not a bad movie, but maybe it's just not like the most memorable. Like, I know the beats and everything because I don't know if this movie might just be another case of, like, this movie's like so influential that it did other things so much that other things kind of copied from it, which I don't know if I've seen that yet. I don't know how influential it is. I mean, there's like a ton of stuff about, like, big media or big elites controlling the masses and everything, I don't know. Maybe it's because the fact this is parody or something, but something about this film makes me feel like a lot of films are trying to take nods from it. You know what I mean? Heck, John Carpenter, he's quite the pioneer. He did Halloween, he did The Thing, and of course, this movie too. Like, now, Halloween, from my knowledge at least, and I think to an extent, Village of the Damned, there were some films that took nods from those, and They Live, I think it might be one of those too. Because, like, there's something about this where, like, I see this film and I know the beats. But there were some things I definitely missed in my second rewatch, which I'm getting into right now. What do you think of the news station girl?
What's her name? Holly, right?
Yeah, Holly Thompson.
I'll be honest. I played by Meg Foster, I believe. Yeah. So I was always somewhat like suspicious of her character. I was not surprised at the end when she turned out to be working for the aliens. When she shoots what's his face? When she shoots Frank, I was not very surprised when that happened. Something just seems kind of off about her, to be honest. It seems like she always had like an ulterior motive for what she did. Her performance. I don't think this was like Meg Foster's performance, but doesn't she kind of come off? Didn't she came off as kind of like robotic and inhuman to me?
Yeah. I was trying to get to that. Like, I didn't really. I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about her character. Like, I thought she was more of she was definitely the love interest, but I thought so I remember my first time watching, I thought she was more of the love interest, but when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh, she's the betrayer. Okay. And I also thought Frank went out in a blaze of glory. I thought he went down fighting a bunch of aliens while Nada went to go destroy the satellite. And I thought it was more of an explosive finale of Nada straight up gunning down the satellite, like how the gang members gunned down RoboCop. Oh, we definitely got a RoboCop. But anyways, I didn't really like Holly Thompson as a character. She was definitely very robotic and bland. She kind of subverted. She did the old plot twist of, oh, I actually want to work for the character now. Oh, I'm actually with the bad guys. Did she ever give a motive for why she betrayed Nada? Did she ever give a motive?
Nope, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I get there's the argument to be made that, oh, she did it because like that one guy who was who was telling them, hey, we get money, they get part of Earth. It's that simple. Everyone sells out once in a while. Like, you could argue that was a motive, but she never explicitly stated it, or maybe she thought like, the humanity sucks and that the aliens were better. Like, she should have said, we as a species are too dangerous. The aliens know what's best for us. Like, she could have said something like that to make her character a lot more interesting, and maybe give like a little duality of human commentary. Because here's the thing, this movie I don't think is anti-human. It's like, it's anti-consumerism, it's anti-elite. It's basically saying, wake up, sheeple. But there could have been a thing, like, oh, humanity sucks, this is why we need to sell out. It's like, no, look, humans, they can be mindless sheep, they can be consumerist, but we shouldn't sell them out to the aliens. Humans are complex creatures. They could have done something. And I know it sounds like I'm trashing this movie a lot, but I don't hate this movie. I think it's a good movie. But I'm just saying, like, this is like Meg Foster, not Meg Foster, Holly Thompson was a forgettable character in my opinion, because I literally forgot about Meg. I'm like, oh yeah, that girl. Like, when she came on my screen, it's like, oh, I forgot about this girl.
Yeah, I had a similar reaction. So I remember when she showed up at that meeting that they were at, that Frank and Nada attend. When she showed up, I was like, oh yeah, she's in this movie. That was my reaction.
So, do you have anything more to say about Holly Thompson, or did you? Can I move on to some minor detail I actually really liked?
Let's hear your minor detail you really liked.
So maybe I'm looking too deep into this movie, but I really liked the blind preacher. I know he's just a minor detail, but something about the Resistance kind of having one of their biggest broadcasts and factories for sunglasses being in a church, fighting against corporate America. Something about that I think is kind of neat. And, and the blind preacher, he can't see through the glasses, and neither can he see who an alien is, but like, he like kind of he goes by faith, man. And he even like goes up to Nada and saying, you're a working man or something like that, kind of giving him like this chosen one vibe. And then when, of course, the friggin' police who are controlled by the aliens like SWAT the church and the freaking homeless like Skid Row field or whatever. I'm sure there's a proper term for that, but I unfortunately do not know that.
I think it's called like a Shantyville or something.
Shantyville, yes, thank you. The Shantyville, and do not get offended if we're not using the politically correct terms. We're not saying slurs for crying out loud. But anyways, there's something about that, like, where the church was actually, they were like providing for the Shantyville, they were making the glasses, they were doing the broadcast, and yet, the priest knows there's something in Nada, and even though he can't tell, he can't freaking tell like who's an alien or not because of his sight, he still knows like what's good or whatnot. And I don't know if that's like saying that corporate America is just trying to actually trample over like beliefs and make them the new religion or something. But I thought that was a nice detail that I kind of wish they explored a little bit more, if I'm being honest. But for what it's worth, I think this movie, I think the movie did its thing. That's Proctor. But do you have any thoughts on that? Or am I looking too deep? I'm sorry.
So I don't really have anything to add, but I do want to say on a slightly similar note, when the police come and raid the church in the Shantyville, I don't know about you, but did the way the police act in this movie, did they almost feel like Army in a way, in terms of how they moved, in terms of like their formations and all that stuff? Because like, how when an army moves, they all move in one uniform motion, right?
A
You know
little.
what I'm talking about? Like in one synchronous motion, right?
Kind of.
I kind of got that vibe from the way the police, like the way their body movements were and the way their formations and their tactics and everything. They kind of seemed like peacekeepers of a dictatorship, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't
riot
know why
police.
they yeah, the riot police, that kind of thing. I just kind of got that vibe from them, and I think that plays into the movie's theme about how like the system itself is the villain.
Evil. Real quick. Remember what do you have anything more to say about that first? I just realized I know. So this I don't know if this movie. I don't know if this movie inspired other films, but what I do know is that it actually inspired the street artist Shepard Fairey. You know the Obey merchandise and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That was inspired by They Live.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, that was by the artist. That was by the street artist Shepard Fairey. He took a lot of inspiration from that. Some may call him a
Yeah.
sellout, but he's doing his thing.
Yep.
Don't know how Banksy feels about him, but you know.
Yeah.
But that being said, yeah, that's one of the movie's impacts, and that's where all the so I mean I was in like my time around 2012 to the 2010 to 2012. There was a lot of people wearing like Obey merchandise, Obey hats, and whatnot,
Yeah.
and apparently that was because of Shepard Fairey, because he really liked They Live.
I still see people wearing Obey merchandise to this day. So
Yeah.
at least in my area where I live, I see that every now and again. I see Obey merchandise every now and again. So
Mm-hmm.
admittedly, I did used to see it a lot more, admittedly, but
Mm-hmm.
still.
But anyways, but yeah, the police, they definitely move like a riot police, and Lord knows what happened. They started decking out and armoring their police. That would have gotten ugly real fast. Could have made like a little mini boss.
Yep. So what did you think of the climax as far as like when Frank and Nada are in that sort of like base, the alien base, and they're seeing all the stuff that the aliens do, and there's that big meeting with that one human guy who completely has sold his soul to the aliens, and he's profiting off of what the aliens are doing and shit. Like, what do you have anything to say about that?
I hate the shadow government. I hate the Antichrist. That's I mean, well, yes, I hate the Antichrist. I hate the shadow government. I I hate the Antichrist, but honestly, that's like a quintessential secret elite society. That's like a quintessential elite secret society kind of deal. Like, I mean, that's how I got with the dinner scene. But when I saw like the aliens like teleporting from like galaxy using that like railway sort of thing, I'm just like, what the? I was like, that's crazy, man. And then because there's rumors of the government actually contacting aliens and whatnot, and completely selling out to them. It's like, holy crap. Whereas, Men in Black is like, all right, diplomacy. We'll make deals, but we ain't going to sell out. And then, of course, there's Lilo and Stitch, where they convince the entire alien planet that Earth needs to be preserved because humans are the only food resource for the endangered mosquito. The original, not the shitty remake. But anyways, where was I? Oh, right. What I loved, too, is that how they essentially, I don't know if this is like a motif to undercover societies, but the little gadget watch, that is a cool weapon the bad guys have. And I like how like it spawns a hole for where you have to jump in, count a little down the rabbit hole kind of thing. But
yeah, it's basically a weaponized Rolex watch, basically.
it is. I kind of wish we saw more of that gadget. I'm gonna be honest with you, because like imagine the possibilities. Like you communicate with it. It's basically it's just like a spy watch you see in like the cartoons or James Bond movies.
Yeah, but you have to remember this movie is only an hour 30 minutes, so they're limited on time.
That's true, but hey, it's still a really cool gadget, even if it is used by the bad guys. It's like, man, we gotta get me one of those.
Yeah, and I do find though the one thing I do find genuinely creative about this movie, and I can't believe we haven't gotten to it yet. The idea that a pair of sunglasses can make you see the world for what it is like, it's kind of random, but at the same time, it's like kind of cool in a way, because I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like sunglasses just inherently make everybody cooler, but it's but they're even cooler when they let you see like aliens and shit, and like all the advertisements that's basically telling you to get in line, you sheep.
I mean,
So,
blowing all that up and walking away from the explosion without looking at it,
yeah.
and then getting on a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm just adding on to the shit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, not only are they cool, but they're practically practical, pun absolutely intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sunglasses are cool. No pun intended that time, I swear. It is. I understand why they had to get rid of them for plot reasons. That the contacts are more convenient that way, less interference, and you can actually permanently. Well, it's not a permanent solution, unlike the freaking blowing up the satellite, but it is. It's definitely like a step up from the sunglasses. So it's like that thing in a video game where it's like you find really cool armor but it does not fit your entire set, so you have to look very stupid just to beat the boss. I mean, granted, the context will make you look stupid, but I mean, you still look normal. I mean, hell, I still stand to this day that I look better without glasses than I do with glasses. But that being said, I mean, I look better with sunglasses, I'm being honest. But, but yeah, I do. It's like you trade style for practicality. But honestly, that's just a minor nitpick, and I understand why they did it. And I do not hold that against the film.
All right, now on to my question. What is your favorite one-liner in this movie?
Maybe it's because it's been referenced so much, and like in Duke Nukem. Oh, more influence in that film. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I originally thought that was from Duke Nukem, to be perfectly honest with you, until I was like, until I got into horror, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, that's actually from some John Carpenter movie from the 80s.
Yeah. I also like how I think this is like one of the insulty dishes at the end. It's like, you look like burnt cheese or whatever.
I will say, though, I love how Piper's the last thing he does before he dies, because spoiler alert, he does die at the end, is just flip off the aliens.
Oh yeah, going out in a blaze of glory. Which I gotta be honest, I thought Nana's death was a lot more dramatic in the film. Like, I thought he did like more tear down on the satellite, not just physically, but like he didn't just shoot with the pistol. He like chucked a grenade at it while being shot at the helicopter. Like I thought it was a little more played out, but honestly, he did his job. He showed the world what was really going on. And I'm gonna be honest, aside from the television station, I thought everyone would be more panicky about the fact aliens are living among us.
Yeah, but to be fair, the movie it doesn't spend a lot of time on people, on everyone's the global reactions. They'll be like, oh, wait a minute, the person next to me is actually a fucking alien, holy shit. Because right when you get that kind of reaction is when the credits roll. So
yeah. I mean, to be fair, the final reaction, okay, I'm wondering if maybe my freaking library copy was different from my DVD copy, but that's just me getting a little paranoid. But anyways, because like in the final scene where the girl's having sex with that dude, turns out he's an alien. He's like, "What's wrong, babe?" You don't really see her, like, you don't hear her scream. You just silence. She's like, "What's wrong, babe?" When I first watched it, I thought there was a genuine scream, and the alien kind of screamed back too. Kind of like those comedy movies where the guy sees a creature, the guy screams, the creature screams, but that never happened, unfortunately. Unless my copy was just different. I mean, did that happen in your copy?
I don't know. This is the only copy I've ever owned.
Okay, just figured I'd ask. I don't know if I'm going crazy or not.
Well, to be fair, in this 4K Steelbook, I have two copies technically. There's the 4K Ultra HD and the Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray copy. These are both the Scream Factory releases. So
I just got this little compilation.
Yeah, so I have multiple options to watch this movie just in case my internet goes down, because physical media forever. Because physical media is the best way to watch movies.
DVDs, yes, please. DVDs, yes, please. DVDs, yes,
guess what, people? This copy of They Live, it has 2 discs on it, and I own both of these forever. forever.
Same.
As long as I take care of the disc and I don't sell it or trade it or whatever, I own this forever. And there's nothing that, let's see here, who's the distributor for this movie? Screen Factory, Universal Studios. There's nothing that Universal Studios can do about it. The fact that I own this movie forever.
Universal Studios, they published this movie, they did The Thing. I'm wondering if maybe this is just a whole Universal, my little collection here is just oh, it is a licensed Universal thing, so I have to wonder, why couldn't they include The Mouth of Madness on here? Which I'm still grateful that They Live is on here, but I want to ask you, this is, people, you said you got into horror and explored this movie more, and now this is also my Master of Fear collection, meaning there's like horror movies and there's They Live, so how much of a horror movie is They Live to you?
It's more of a sci-fi movie, to be honest. I guess it's more horror more from the subtext, more from the themes, more than anything like overt, like in something like Halloween or The Thing.
I agree. It's definitely more of a sci-fi movie, and the horror is more often like that. Oh, we're being controlled kind of deal, which, you know, I mean, I don't know if that's like, do you think it's becoming a cliche now where everyone's just like, oh, we're being controlled? And yes, I agree. You know, there's a lot of ignorance in humanity sometimes, but like, there's like a subgenre of film where like people watch once and they think they're like these enlightened individuals. Idiocracy. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. You know, there's problems in the world, and, you know, art helps us digest these problems and, you know, discuss this and all. But do you think They Live is like one of those movies where, like, once people watch it, it's like, oh, I'm smarter than everyone else. We're being controlled. Corporations suck. And yes, corporations do suck. Obligatory fuck Sony. So don't think I'm, like, sucking off something, but just...
I mean, after watching this movie, I personally did not feel like I was smarter than the average person just because I saw this movie. So... I can only speak for myself. So this is one. I really don't think They Lived as one of those like big brained, high art type of movies. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and nothing against like avant garde or high art movies or anything. Like that. It's just that this is not one of those, and that's something that we talked about this a little bit on the Thing episode of this podcast. That's something I really respect about John Carpenter is that his movies, yes, they're genre films, yes, they're B movies. A lot of them are like genre films, B movies, but he's willing to include commentary of some sort, whether it be social commentary or whatever else. But at the same time, the social commentary doesn't get in the way of the B movie-ness of the story and
the characters,
even vice versa. Like they both work in service to each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's how themes, characters, and stories should work. They should not sacrifice one another. Like, there are some movies out there, I will not name, I know one, but I'm not going to name it yet. There's movies out there that sacrifice good characters and story for the sake of grandiose themes, and thankfully, They Live is not one of them, because it's still got an entertaining character, a really cool story, and it's just overall well-crafted.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like... Admittedly, I haven't seen every single John Carpenter movie yet, so people in the comments, don't roast me yet. But I don't think it's quite as good as some of the other ones I've seen, like Halloween, The Thing, and The Fog. I would still say I like The Fog more than this one, even though that is much more of a horror film than this one is. Mm-hmm. But like I said at the beginning of this podcast, it's another banger from John Carpenter. And like I still have yet to see a movie of his that I don't like. Like, that dude just had a run in the late 70s and early 80s. Or actually throughout the whole 80s. But
oh, yeah. I agree. I haven't seen a lot of John Carpenter, and quite frankly, there's a lot of John Carpenter films I need to get around to seeing. I almost said grab around. I don't know what that means. But anyways, grab around. Yeah, grab all of John Carpenter's movies. I mean, I could do it if I have all the DVDs, and this little mini collection makes it easier because it comes on 2 discs.
And there's 4 movies in that collection?
Yeah, there's 4 movies. And also, I learned why In the Mouth of Madness, which is like the final installment of the Apocalypse trilogy, is not on here. So, The Thing and Prince of Darkness, which are the first two in the Apocalypse trilogy, those are Universal, and the Mouth of
Yeah.
Madness is New Line Cinema.
Kind of figured that's what it was.
But I gotta say, I'm loving John Carpenter so far. I've seen about, let's see, there's They Live, there's The Thing and the Mouth of Madness, The Fog, Escape from New York. There was like a sixth one. I swear there was a sixth one.
Halloween.
I saw Halloween. Thank you. Yeah, Halloween, and yeah, it's about it. I saw 6 John Carpenter movies, and I'm digging this guy so far. And maybe one day, if I do watch all the John Carpenter movies, which, hey, I'm watching every Ryan Gosling movie, so it's doable. I mean, so far my ranking, I'd say They Live is... I'm bad with numbers, viewers. I'm terrible at numbers. I'll worry about it later. All right. That's going to require a lot of thinking on my end. But I definitely say it's up there. It's up there so far from what I've seen from good old Mr. Carpenter.
Yep. And by the way, unrelated, but John Carpenter recently put out a new album and it's actually pretty good.
Cool. So, I did not listen to Mr. Carpenter's new album. Do you have anything else to say about They Live? Because I don't know if I have anything else to... Oh! So in the end of the movie, there is a scene where once the satellite gets destroyed, it cuts to a news feed of this guy with an obey sign behind him talking about... He's like, people like John Carpenter and Wes Craven, George Romero, they need to turn it down. Too much violence. I thought that was kind of funny.
That was kind of funny, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I also asked, did you want to talk about more about the film's social commentary? And I find it funny how marrying and reproducing is propaganda when really a lot nowadays a lot of there's a huge loneliness epidemic amongst people, and antinatalism is very huge, or at least huge in some like terminally online parts of the internet.
You're gonna have to explain that last part to me.
So antinatalism is so it's basically, think of the I don't want kids belief, but turn it up to max. Not only do you not want kids, you hate the very idea of people having kids. You see someone having kids, you're like, oh, fuck you, you're contributing wrong to society. I'm just like, was this movie like the spawning point of antinatalism?
I don't think so. I mean, that's a bit of a strange belief. I mean, I'm somebody who I don't have any interest in having kids or anything like that, but I'm not going to pass judgment on to others if they choose to do that. Like the thing is, so I did find last night I was watching this interview with John Carpenter where he was talking about bunch of his movies, but they got to They Live, and he just straight up said that this movie was inspired by Reaganomics and Ronald Reagan and consumerism, and he literally just straight up said, and I'm basically quoting him here, he basically said the villains were meant to be bankers, Republicans, and people that are of similar status as those people, if that makes sense. The thing is, so like we kind of said earlier, I think the political and social commentary in this movie is fairly in your face, while at the same time not interfering with or coming at the expense of story. But the thing is, if we were to delve super deep into the politics, we'd be talking about Ronald Reagan and trickle-down economics and all this shit. Like, I don't have a degree in economics, political science, social sciences. Like, I'm just not smart enough to have some of these conversations.
I mean,
to be honest,
I don't know shit about economics.
Exactly. I know how to do my taxes every year. I know how to do that. It's like, and I have a very basic surface level understanding of economics, and also I'm not good at math or any of those other things that are kind of required in economics. Neither of us are smart enough to have this very loaded conversation about some of these themes. And also, movie Mortis is not a political economic.
We are not a political podcast.
Yeah, but
we just love the movies.
Exactly. But the thing is with movies, like, some of these topics are going to come up from time to time.
Yeah.
And we can have surface level discussions of these things, because it's like, look, films are art, and films are art, and art is often very political. Not all the time, and not always overtly, but
the other week I literally talked about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which has the social commentary of artificial intelligence and the constant reliance on technology.
Exactly. And so it's like these themes are going to come up all the time, and most art that's created, whether it's consciously or subconsciously is inspired by the world around the person who created it.
Exactly. I mean,
so so these
we
topics are
talked
going to
about
come up.
Fight Club too, and that had some commentary on it.
Exactly.
And it kind of has the same theme. It kind of has very similar themes to They Live, but instead of like covering a campy B movie way, it's like it's more grimy and a breakdown where it makes you question. It has that that meme where it's like a guy dressed in a Nazi uniform. It's like, Dylan, are we the baddies? It's kind of like that. It's not being pro corporatism. It's like anti extremism and John They Live is also anti corporatism as well. It's like the people cover things differently, and again we don't endorse any political beliefs on this channel, by the way. Which I'm sorry to anyone who I know the internet's definitely a little fiery, and a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you don't support anything? We support good movies, creativity, art, and physical media.
And look, I'll talk about my politics if it's ever relevant to a movie we're covering. The problem is it's usually not. So
I agree.
So
for me,
and also, often people conflate politics with when people think politics, people associate with the conversation about one particular politician in America today.
Oh yeah.
I won't name him, but he is very, very orange.
Yeah. President Lincoln owes me money. Oh, damn you, Lincoln.
God damn. But yeah, a lot of people conflate politics with people talking about that particular person. The 45th and, the 45th and 47th president of the United States. But not all political conversations revolve around that guy. And again, we are not a political podcast, but again, some of these topics do come up from time to time. Man, you really are proud of yourself with that joke. Holy shit.
No, I'm thinking of more jokes. I'm thinking of more jokes. It's like, yes, we will not be mentioning William Henry Garrison, even though he's only in office for 30 days.
William Henry Harrison.
William Henry Harrison, yes, thank you. And anyways, enough about who's that guy?
Enough about William Taft. We got to wrap this shit up.
Yeah. No more freaking Truman jokes.
We should just keep naming obscure U.S. presidents.
I'm not gonna lie, unrelated, but I think a biopic about President Andrew Garfield would be pretty cool. Now that I know about his life, courtesy of Emperor Lemon. But I digress. Yeah. I was just really confused about why Marry and Reproduce is considered propaganda. Like, especially nowadays with like a lot of people feeling lonely in terms of like a relationship partner, and of course, that's like the only part I really question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the Marry and Reproduce thing. I think that's just part of the other parts of the social commentary here, where it's like people are unknowingly cogs in a systematic machine, and marrying and reproducing are sort of part of that, because the more people marry and reproduce, the more people can engage in the economic system that is, like I said, we're not smart enough to have some of these conversations, but
yeah,
you kind of get my point, right?
Yeah, I was just very confused. It's like, what's wrong with? Yeah, that I just got confused. That's where. So a part of me wonders if that part maybe like I get. There's definitely a lot of movies from like the 80s and 90s I think really aged well in terms of social commentary. Again, we talked about American Psycho, and I think that movie aged a little way too well with social behaviers. And so I'm just wondering,
and you could, to an extent, probably say the same thing for this movie. I know people have.
Oh, I agree. So, 100%.
Much like The Thing, it's that movie's themes are a lot more prevalent in today's society compared to 1982 when that movie came out, and it's the same thing with They Live. It's not exactly the same, of course, but it's in a similar sort of way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just that, do you think, I don't know if the marry and reproduce line aged well. Like, a lot of the movie aged well, but the marry and reproduce, I'm just like, I don't know, a lot of people are feeling lonely nowadays, you know?
Yeah,
That's
but
just my
there's
two
also
cents.
a lot of people that don't want to marry and reproduce. They want to,
I mean,
you know.
that's fine. That's fine. But just don't tell other people, it's like, oh, don't marry and reproduce. It's like, what?
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
agree.
all. Going away from political themes and whatnot, there was
Hmm.
another thing I wanted to talk about this movie, assuming my shitty president jokes did not make me forget. um, oh well. I think we'll just end it here then because I completely forgot. I might have been something small or little, or I can try desperately hard to think about it. But yeah, that's.
All
I guess
right,
we'll end it
so
here. Do you have anything else to say, Drew?
all right, so I would like to make before we wrap this up, I would like to make a bit of an announcement for the Movie Mortis podcast. Nothing crazy. So over the last couple of weeks, viewers, to give you a little bit of insight of how things are run here at Movie Mortis, we have been recording these episodes on Mondays and releasing them on. I edit them and on, over the 2 days between one day when we record them and usually late when Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning, depending on what time zone you're in, is when it will come out. So next week, there will be no new Movie Mortis episode next week. I'll probably make a post about it because on the Monday, the day where we normally record it, I will be traveling home from Los Angeles, where this movie takes place. Hopefully, I don't run into any aliens.
Yeah, I'll uh,
So
I'll send you a pair of sunglasses, Drew.
yeah, so yeah, I will be in Los Angeles for the weekend, seeing the greatest band of all time, Avenged Sevenfold, in concert for the first time in my 16 years of being a fan. Can't believe it's been that long. Anyways, so no new episode next week, unfortunately, but we should be back the week after. So I will try to put out a few more individual reviews from now until the next time we do a podcast. So just thought I would mention that. Probably make a post about it later in the week, just so
Yeah,
all 20 of our subscribers know.
yeah, and all the people who follow me on Instagram, I hope you're listening to our podcast. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I promote this on my personal Instagram. I might make a separate Instagram page when we finally start doing more visuals. When
Yeah,
we start doing more
and
visual
and
content.
uh, and uh, on my end, I have friends at my job who work at this podcast. I won't name them on the air right now, but thank you very much, everybody, for your support. This goes for everyone, my friends at work, Nick's friends over in Texas. We thank you very much for your support. And even if you don't know either of us personally, you're watching from. I know we have a few viewers in Asia. We have a few viewers in Ethiopia. We have a few viewers. We have a handful of viewers in the UK as well. If you're watching from any of those places, thank you for your support. Much appreciated.
Big ups to
Um,
all you. And
exactly, and
we hope to continue to grow from here. We hope we keep growing.
exactly. And so hopefully you guys will we will be back in on the podcast in 2 weeks. And hopefully you all join us for more movie madness.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow the socials, follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day, everybody.